Peace to the kings and queens. It's your brother Tim Gray from the Melanated Medicine podcast. I want to thank you for coming back for another episode with our dear sister, Miss Unique. So let's get into this thing real quick. Miss Unique, I got to tell you how I found you. Okay? Got to tell you how I found you. People kept tagging me in your stuff. Like, why aren't you there? I was like, where's there? I didn't understand what the hell they were tagging me. And it was like, when you keep seeing mutual friends. Mm-hmm. I was like, so why are they? Whatever, it's the internet. Mm-hmm. And then they said, oh, she has a boutique. Because I'm so used to hearing about a product. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it was a whole establishment. So I was like, okay, now that piqued my interest. Mm-hmm. So before I go into this, I had a whole moment at her boutique that I was proud. Because it was the daintiest thing I had ever seen, and it was so beautifully delicate. And it was done in a place that I was like, no, you did not do that there. So without any further ado, Miss Unique, can you please introduce yourself and tell the people where your boutique is?
Hello there. My name is Unique Figueroa, and I am the owner of Becoming Unique. Becoming Unique is more than just a boutique.
Yes.
It actually started quite a few years ago. My real name is Unique, and when I reached my 40s, I had no idea that I didn't know what self-care was. I was so busy and being proud to be busy that I was taking care of my kids, taking care of my husband, taking care of the household, but neglected to take care of me. And I think it was vanity that first got me to start taking care of myself.
Okay.
I was a woman in my 40s with my big old belly. And I pretty much grew up as a smaller person. And so I decided to join a gym.
Okay.
And the gym that I joined was Equinox.
Yeah.
But it was truly the best blessing of joining that gym. And I almost didn't join it because, remember, I didn't know how to pour into me. And Equinox is not a cheap gym.
No, it is not. I was a spa manager there, so I understand.
So I had a friend when I was like, oh, I took a week pass. It was so nice, but I don't know about it. She was like, girl, you have no vices. You don't buy shoes for yourself. You don't drink. You don't do anything. Anything you do is for those kids or that husband. So I joined Equinox, and I didn't get my flat stomach, which was the biggest blessing.
Oh, come on. Excuse me. Lead me in. I'm leading in now.
Because if I would have got my flat stomach and dropped back to this weight that we're chasing this 22-year-old body when we're in our 40s.
Yeah.
And not embracing the 40-year-old body.
Yeah.
So if I would have got back to my 22-year-old body within a few months, I would have left Equinox and said, I got what I was looking for. But if you work for Equinox, you know the yoga classes are top tier.
Yep.
Top tier instructors. And I tried all of the different classes, but yoga was the one that was calling me.
Right.
And, once you start to discover yoga, you start to discover meditation. You start to discover other levels.
Aspects, yeah.
And so now that this doorway has been open, I started just discovering more and more and more and more. And meditation was not in my vocabulary or in my lifestyle before my 40s. I didn't even know what that was. Speaking positive to myself was not a part of my lifestyle. Just all of these elements of taking care of yourself was not in my lifestyle. And so once I started to take care of myself and discover all of these components that were not a part of my lifestyle, I said, wait a minute, you know what? I need to start, implementing more of this and sharing it with the world. But before the Becoming Unique came to play, Michelle Obama's book came out around that same time.
Okay.
Called Becoming.
Yeah.
And I saw her.
That was a huge book.
Yes. And she was on an interview with, I believe Oprah. And she said, I dislike when people ask children what do they want to be when they grow up, as if growing up is a final destination. And it hit me so hard because I thought wherever I was at, I had arrived and this is what life is.
Right.
And it gave me the permission to say, wait a minute, there's more. So this was all in the same time of me discovering all these aspects of self-care and taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michelle Obama hit me with that. And I said, you know what? There's more to this.
Mm-hmm.
So then now I said, you know what? I'm going to call myself Becoming Unique. I had started a YouTube page at that time. And at that time, there was also other elements. I started taking a cooking class. In New York City, they have this thing called Continue Education for Adults. It's free courses.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so at the beginning, when I first took the first course with them, it was at a point not for me. It was just like, okay, one of my daughters are in high school. She's going to be going to college soon. Right. I don't have any career for me. When I did work, I was a sales girl. I worked at department stores. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go back to that. So I need some type of like certificate, some type of understanding to move forward. So like I took like a class, I think it was called medical billing or something. Mm-hmm. And then I was like.
Just to do something.
Well, just to start to figure out what to do.
Okay.
I was like, I don't even know what to do with my life. I don't know what it is. So this is all like kind of like in the same circle.
Sure.
And so I gave myself permission to take that class. It was free because remember, I didn't really want to take, I didn't want to invest in me. So it was free. So I was like, well, I don't have to take any money to pay for this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's real.
And then it was in the daytime while my kids were in school. So I didn't feel like it was going to interfere with them. So then now I take this class and then I was like, okay, now I have permission. It taught me to now say I can make space. Like mm-hmm. I can make space for me. So the cooking class, the next semester, I was like, well, what class am I going to take now? They had an adult cooking class and you get like the certificate and stuff like that. And so then now I take the cooking class and I gave myself permission. I was like, I can leave those kids at home. I don't need to be home with them. and I say all these little details because if I was going through this, there's more people out there like
Absolutely.
me. There's more people. And I felt like I kept coming to this place of hearing about people with these more dynamic situations. Mm-hmm. And I felt like there needed to be more stories of the regular situations.
Well, there's more of us than there are of them. Mm-hmm. You know, so, but I commend you for having a moment of pause. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're, this clothing line that I have now, this one is called Adapt. Can you read it?
Yes. Adapt, shift, and proceed.
That's it. And it's just a myriad of different ways to keep moving forward. And you pivoted, mm-hmm. which is the hard thing to do when you feel like you've hit the final destination.
Yeah. So
kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
No, come on, let's give you a round of applause. Give you a round of applause. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm extra. When you found that you got to this space and you started seeing all these other things start opening up for you, how did you make that go into what you're doing currently?
There's a quote by Rumi that says, start the walk and the way will appear.
I mean,
at that moment, I didn't know any of this was going to happen.
Right.
I did not know.
Right.
So in almost everything that I do, I'm starting to say this quote, start the walk and the way will appear. I just needed to start. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we're always looking for that final destination. We want to figure out, well, what am I going to do? What's next? What's next? What's next? We don't need to know what's next. Just start. Mm. I started with that medical billing class that I have absolutely. The medical billing class gave me the permission to start making space for me.
Huh. So that was a conduit, so you had to begin.
Yeah, it just gave me the permission to start making space for me. I went to the gym not because I'm looking for wellness. No, I went to the gym because my belly was bigger than what I wanted to look like.
Yeah.
And then it started to open the doors. And, sometimes we just need to start. We don't always have to have the answers to start. But, so I started calling myself Becoming Unique on YouTube. I changed my Instagram page. I called it Becoming Unique because now it started to become a journey of me.
Come on.
Me discovering me.
Come on.
Because I was like, who am I? Because my husband I'm with right now, I've been with him since I was 17. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, man.
Okay. So
and she's only 22. So there's that. Okay. That's still young in the game. I got you.
Okay. So So yeah, I've been with him most of my life. I was born in 1976, so I mean, like he's had most of my life. So
Shout out to 70s babies.
yes. So if you realize in the era that we grew up in, the parenting was a little more, do this, do that. It wasn't about letting your child explore.
It was definitely, you had more parameters of what you were not going to be able to do.
Yeah. So I grew up with like you said, I grew up in this era where I didn't get to explore me.
Sure.
And also we didn't have the internet
at all.
So if you don't find people can find their peoples.
There's definitely pockets of everything at this point, for sure.
So you're literally a product of whatever environment you're in.
Sure, absolutely.
You're a product of whatever environment, and you don't, not saying you can't explore, but it was just a little more limiting. So I basically never discovered unique. So I grew up being raised, then I got into a relationship, and then I became a mother in my mid-20s, and then now that's it. Where was unique in any of this? There was no unique. So now I'm in my mid-40s, and I'm like, I need to discover. I'm like, who am I? Who am I? And then, like I said, start to walk in the way will appear. And then upon this journey, I've gotten to be. I started a podcast, and I started a podcast.
Tell them the name of the podcast.
Becoming Unique. Everything is becoming unique. But I started the podcast because there's a podcaster called Jim Quick. He's about brain health. And he said, if you want to learn something, teach it. So I wanted to learn all of these aspects of everything that was just coming at me so quickly. What are the 8 limbs of yoga? Like all of these just things. What are the chakras? Like all of this was new. So now I can be in the conversation talking about it so fluently, like I know what this was, but I didn't know what that was a few years ago.
Sure.
And just having this, and so I would invite people on, or I would just look up the stuff myself and study it, and then be able to talk about it. And so as I'm teaching it, I'm learning it.
Understood.
So,
but there's still something about due diligence within that you have to have a sense of integrity about what you're teaching. So a lot of people can look at a subject matter and actually not research it enough, and still think there can be authorities in that area. So I give you the credit for learning about something and exploring it to see what it is, and then rehearsing it enough to be able to talk about it. Because that sometimes we miss those steps. Someone can hear that one thing about what you're saying and it's totally just go, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah, 90% of the episodes were guests, definitely.
No, but I'm saying even in that regard, to even be prepared for a conversation with a guest.
Yes.
So you started the YouTube channel, you got the podcast, and then how did you become what the next iteration of yourself was?
Then the next part was I wrote a book called Your Guide to Bringing More Acts of Self-Care, and that was literally downloaded to me like during the meditation. And it's a simple guide of all of the stuff that I started to incorporate in my life. And I call it a small but mighty book because it's 12 chapters, and I say it's 12 weeks because I ask that you sit in each chapter for 1 week. I've read and listened to so many self-help books, podcasts, and so on, and received all this information. But after it was done, it was done.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait a minute. I want to talk about pausing. So I ask you to pause through this chapter. When we're talking about the week of affirmations, every day you're showing up, you're writing affirmations, you're reading affirmations, and you're working through that part, just seeing if it, because I hear all this stuff, oh, that's great. Yeah, I need to start that. You need to start that, and never do.
Yeah, but we also can get selection paralysis. I'm a very big fan of fasting. And not just from the food part of it. Being Muslim, Ramadan is coming. People will understand, oh, you're just not going to eat food, or you don't drink water. They don't realize the other aspects of the fast, where I'm watching what I say. I'm watching what I listen to. I'm watching whom I listen to. Because these things have impressions upon us that sometimes give you a sense of anxiety that you think that you need to act upon every single thing that you hear, but you don't actually know who you are anymore because you're just responding to stimulus constantly. So you have to shut down, be still, and see what then settles and move from that space.
Yes. And even in the book, I also say, at the end of this chapter or this week, like for example, journaling, You know, you may not be into journaling, but I ask that you pause for a week in journaling. And if at the end of the week you don't choose to do journaling, you didn't, but at least you know you showed up for it.
Yeah, you were actively a part of it.
Yes.
Instead of already dismissing something that you haven't put any energy into.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So we got from the YouTube channel, podcast, you sound like me, to the book. What was the fourth thing?
My goal was always to run a New York City marathon. I don't know if it was my goal. I was always inspired by watching the New York City Marathon.
Right.
And because you're from Harlem, I was raised in Riverton.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, the marathon would run
Straight
right past
down.
Riverton.
Yep.
And I remember as a little kid, I was giving out the water, and it was just, it's an energy that's unmatched.
Yep.
Watching
Shout out
them.
to Harlem.
Yes. Watching them run that marathon every year. And then even when I started to work, and then I would see people with those aluminum foil things.
Yeah, you would see it. That's a sense of envy because it's like a badge that they won.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God. Like,
and shout out to all of my marathon clients because I stay in business because I have to.
So I was like, oh my goodness, I need to run a marathon. So I started the steps, and I ran it was supposed to be 2020, but 2020 happened.
Yeah.
So they moved it to 2021. I haven't ran since.
But you had a goal in mind.
I had a goal, and I achieved it, and I realized running wasn't for me, but I'm so grateful that I was able to step into that realm.
Yeah, you put yourself
to experience
in it.
Because if I didn't, I would have grew old and say, I wish I did it.
Yeah. Because the grueling aspect of the self-discovery, because all of these things that you can hear, the reoccurring statement is that she's constantly working on becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give you a quote that I learned from Ruby D.
Mm-hmm.
She was receiving an award at a ceremony. And I'm watching it because I've always been a fan of her and her husband, Ozzie Davis. May they rest in peace. And she says, I will never be because I'm always becoming. And when she said, I ran and wrote it down. And I'm not that person that just writes down quotes. Mm-hmm. But the way she said it and the delivery of it was so profound that it allows me the space to keep doing. There's no cap on it until you're laid to rest. So why can't you just run a marathon one year?
Exactly.
Why can't you write a book the next one? And these are just things that you thought were cool, and you put some energy toward it.
Thank you for that quote, because that's my new quote. So, I mean, so I arrived at the marathon, and I did that. Actually, the marathon came before the book, because the book was 2022. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the marathon came before the book, 2022. And then 2022, I also started Become a Unique tea line. Mm-hmm. So me and my daughter usually drink tea in the morning. And I said to her, when you grow up, you should open a tea shop. She said, why don't you do that?
I appreciate it when your kids throw it right back at you.
Yeah. I was like, it would be cool, because she's a fashion girl. I was like, you have like a little boutique with your little clothes, and you have a tea. She was like, why don't you do it? Like, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And so, I was like, you're right. And then affirmations had started to become a part of my lifestyle.
Sure.
Because I realized I wasn't having the most beautiful conversations with myself, so I had to input that in. Mm-hmm. And so it's all of them are affirmations.
All the T's.
So right. It's I am love, I am calming, I am blooming. So it's just grand risings, just all positive vibrations to speak to yourself. So the tea line came. I started hustling with, what do you call it? Flea markets.
Sure.
Yeah. So to put the tea line out there, because I'm like, I can't rely on the internet.
Listen, I understand that as I drink my Grounded Vibe Great coffee. Yes. It is right there to your right. Yes. So it is not easy to get anything out into the ocean.
Yeah. So, but what I did notice when I did start doing the flea markets, it was a hustle. Mm-hmm. It was a hustle, and I felt like the weather was always, it was pouring rain. Yeah. The wind was blowing too hard. It was just always challenging.
So conditional.
Yeah. And then I wasn't a fan of this packing up this table,
Yeah. It's a whole,
It's a process. But I'm grateful that I got to experience it. But I did say to myself, I need to just walk into a place and everything's done.
But that's real.
Yeah, I had to experience the flea market to realize
That wasn't it for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I need to. Yeah, I'm not. And my energy is. I said to you before we start the podcast something called human design, and I'm something called a projector. So I'm a non-energy being. So I don't have most of the world are generators. I don't have this big source of energy to pull from. I'm more of a mental person. So me having that hustle, I knew it wasn't in me. I don't have that, which was fine because I talk a lot about holding grace for yourself.
Sure.
So. But yeah, so now we arrived to 2024 at this point.
Yeah.
Really, it's 2023.
I just appreciate that you're giving this whole timeline of life moments. I appreciate it.
Because this is how Becoming Unique came to play.
No, that's the reason why we asked that question. So yes.
Yeah, so so we arrived in 2023. I don't know if you know La Maqueta.
Of course.
Okay. 2020.
That's where I just did the sweat party in this past summer. With me, Ted Smooth, we took over La Maqueta and threw a party for about 3,000 people.
Okay, so I was first. Wow, that's great. So you know how they have the booths in there.
Yeah.
So I did the application with them probably in 2022. They had me on hold forever.
That's not uncommon, but yeah,
because they are a city-run program. So
it's a process.
So yeah, it's a process. But I did their interviews. They even make you audition.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go down to their location all the way downtown. I can't think of the street. Okay. There's another place, but it's
for them.
Yeah. So, and they had this professional kitchen. So I had to give them this whole tea experience there and with all the other staff members. And they're like, you're in. When would you like to move in? I'm like, Christmas. Before Christmas. And this is 2023. No, before 2023. And literally I ordered 5,000 cups because I have my custom Becoming Unique cups.
Yeah.
I ordered 5,000. Also, just before that happened, I was also my tea was put into this advent calendar. I had 1,000 teas out there in this New York City advent calendar.
Okay.
And I remember when I got the pay for that advent calendar, and then they told me I was in, I went and I took the money for that and then put it into ordering 5,000 cups because
that's what entrepreneurs do.
Yeah.
So let me give you a business reference right here. There's a perception that entrepreneurs that you have money. It's not that you have money. The word is cash flow. Because there's going to be a flow of cash that you're constantly pressing into one area, taking for one thing and put it to another. So it's never stable. It's constantly shuffling in between one idea or another. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I remember. And so now I order these 5,000 cups. It took, and I knew it was going to take 2 to 3 months to come because they were custom. It wasn't I was just ordering off of Amazon.
Sure.
They were customly made with my whole logo and everything. And so I was like, okay, by time they come, I said, I need to order them now because, time they come, I'm going to be in La Maqueta. I need to have my custom teacups. January comes, the woman hasn't responded to my email. After they told me, said, you're in. No response at all. For 2 months, no response. So then now we're at the end of January. I literally sent her a picture. I said, I have 5,000 teacups sitting in my living room. Can you please let me know what's going on?
Sure. That's fair.
Let me know what's going on.
That's fair.
No response. So I had to move forward.
And that became what?
And that became me now saying, and the reason why I was going for La Maqueta because I was too scared to go bigger. I said, and I kept saying, I just need just a little space, just to get organized. In the future, I want my store, but not yet. Not yet. Because La Maqueta is just a little kiosk booth. So I was
if you're in Harlem, on the east side of Harlem, you know exactly what she's talking about.
So the universe said,
you're thinking too small.
Exactly.
You know the rest of the phrase. I'm not going to say it.
So now I go and I'm like, okay, let me start. You're passing places for rent. I called one location and the agent was like, oh, this is a kitchen. Are you planning to open a restaurant? I was like, oh, no. He was like, well, what's your price point? What are you looking for? I was like, well, I don't even know if this price point still even exists in today's time.
Sure.
So he literally gives me an address, and he said, "Go check this place out. Let me know. It's not even on the market."
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, it was literally a hole in the wall. There was nothing. There was just literally there were no ceilings. Like the ceilings were like collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
The floor was just like a slate of wood. It was
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And honestly, if most people walked in there, they'd be like, "Get this place out of
Right.
here."
Right.
And literally, when I went in there, I was like, "It's perfect."
Well, the key thing is that you had the site.
Yeah.
You had the site.
I just felt the energy. It was like an energy. I was like, this is perfect. And I moved forward. And then as soon as I started to question it, because I did drive off, I was like, well, maybe I should just keep looking around.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And the first thing I called the place was a hole in the wall. And it was so funny because then when I thought that thought, I looked up and there was a sign in front of me that said hole in the wall. And I said, Spirit, you're telling me where to go.
Well, sometimes guys are gonna knock you over the head.
Yeah, it's like, do not call nowhere else. This is the location. So, so I moved forward, and by the end of May, 24, I opened the doors to Become a Unique Boutique, and we've arrived and Become a Unique.
Come on, let's give a round of applause for that one. All right. Opening is not an easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's taking thought, making it into a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, it seems from your track record that all of these things that you've been pushed into doing is also a part of how you are what you are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you've taken the most appropriate name for the business, because it's clear that these are the steps that you took. So most people would just get on here and talk about where they are currently, not necessarily give us a backstory about how to get there. But I think my takeaway from this, as a person who's been to the boutique and seen this, it's so beautiful inside. Like
Thank you.
And I'm slightly snobbish with certain things like that. So I'm okay with that. So, but I just liked that it reminded me of old Harlem. It reminded me of something that has some panache. And so please, when you guys are walking through Harlem or not walking through Harlem and just have a beautiful day, go have some tea at this amazing space. And then you'll see all of the rest of the opportunities for purchases that you have that I had when I was there. Because you will not walk out without a bag. I can almost guarantee you will not walk out without a bag.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, but it's really not. It's a perfect day date. It's a perfect way to, and this is my interpretation, to remind yourself of yourself, the things that she has in there for sale from all of these different types of creatives, as well as having the opportunity to absorb the services that you provide. And it felt palatable and accessible. And so that's just off of my account. I can't imagine what it's done for other people.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It feels like I know the place is covered because people almost 90% of the time, and it's consistent. People come in and say, it feels calm in here. People literally pause and say, it's so calm in here. They just don't understand the energy that they just walked into. But and I tell people, Become a Unique started with me, but the name Become a Unique now for the boutique is for the collective.
Sure.
Because I want all of us to have the permission to step into our one-of-a-kind selves.
And the confidence to do so, yeah.
Yeah, to have the permission to do that. And then just to give you an idea of what the Become a Unique boutique is, because it's also sometimes the cute little boutique of the unknown.
Sure.
So people are not always aware.
Yeah.
But I call it a self-care wellness boutique. We have multiple pieces happening at the same time.
Yeah.
We have an herbal tea bar. And the tea bar, you can always also book a tea time. So you can go to my website and book a tea time. Tea time happens actually before we open up to the public. Because we are such an intimate space, I wanted to give you that space where you and up to 4 friends can just sit and have tea with your pinky out. and then have access to delectables. I have things like, macaroons
Tell 'em.
and, you know,
I seen
open
it, so I'm just letting you.
open face sandwiches and
My legs was crossing, my pinky was out. So I'm just saying.
vegan caviar, bonbons, like so. But you would have to get that during the
Sure,
tea hour
understood.
time. You can't just come in at 4 o'clock when we're open to the public and just say, I want my little tea hour. So that, because I want it to be this intimate experience for you. So we have tea hour and also herbal tea. You can come at any time and get a cup of herbal tea. Then we have wellness products throughout the whole store.
Yep.
Everything, like you said, you got honey that's harvested right here in Harlem.
No. I got elderberry honey from this black woman in Harlem, correct?
Yeah, it's called Be Favored.
Yes. I bought my new toothbrushes from there. I got my incense in there. I have my tongue scraper from there, which was metal. My toothbrush was from wood.
Yeah, biodegradable.
With charcoal and biodegradable. So those types of things that speak directly to who I am as a person, and also think about from an environmental perspective. So I like shopping small, but that doesn't mean you don't shop quality. So yeah, I walked out with a whole bag full of stuff.
And every purchase comes with a flower,
and the bag is dope.
Yeah,
like she has her packaging is so good that it's one of those things that you don't want to throw away the bag once you receive it. And you should have seen me walking down the street with this beautiful bag and this rose sticking out of it. I mean, this flower sticking out of it. And I'm watching people watch me like, where'd you get that from? And I was like, man, it's right there. So, yes, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Thank you. Thank you for talking about your experience. And then lastly, we offer self-care experiences, which is a very unique situation.
Sure.
I don't know if you noticed that I had this beautiful green chair with curtains.
Yep.
And the curtains are there for a reason, because when you book a self-care experience, we close the curtains. You get headphones with meditation music. You get a journaling sheet. Well, it depends on the experience. Each experience is different.
Right.
One of them is called I Am Love. So I Am Love is an experience where you get a mirror. And not just any mirror, because it's a cute mirror.
No, listen, they got to come and get this whole experience. I understand what it is. So I'm assuming that you're going to talk to yourself about your
Yeah, you're going to look at yourself eye to eye and have a beautiful conversation with yourself. I get you started with a card with affirmations for you to start, but you will also get a journal that you will take home. So the goal is for when you leave behind those curtains, you have started to create a beautiful conversation with yourself, a loving conversation with yourself, that you are able to look at yourself eye to eye. And speak to yourself.
Come on, I'll have a special one for you. This one, hold on. Yeah.
Yes, magical.
Listen, I just appreciate you taking some time to tell us this story, inspire us, give us options of what to do, understanding that it's never too late to pivot, and that if you don't take care of you, it's no point in trying to take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
What was something that you would leave as a message to the guests that they can use as an inspiration? What's an affirmation that you would like the audience to have?
Well, I think I'm going to just go back to the quote from Rumi, because that's what's been channeling, is just start the walk and the way will appear. I think so many of us are just we're thinking about the final destination.
Sure.
I use the example, and this is very superficial. I want $1 million in the bank. And if you have negative $46 in the bank, you just can't see that million.
Yeah.
It's too hard.
Yeah.
But if you just worry about getting yourself to get yourself to a positive, and then open and once you're at the positive, open a savings account. You just take all these steps instead of saying, I want to be a millionaire, but it's too late for that. I'm not going to do that this life. I can't even keep a positive balance.
Well, the one thing I'm going to leave with an add on to that and hitch the wagging to it is, how do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant?
Well, I would think piece by piece.
That's it, one bite at a time. And if you keep focusing on the bite, you also appreciate the meal.
Yeah.
So, Miss Unique, I want to say thank you as your brother, as an entrepreneur, as a podcaster, as an author, and as a creator. Thank you for being a part of this pod, because we need these conversations and stories, because you never know who you're inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your time with us today.
I appreciate you.
All right, guys. I want to say peace to the kings and queens out there. Thank you for joining the Melanated Medicine podcast. Please go shop at Becoming Unique, listen to her podcast, buy her book, all the things. All right? Peace.
Thank you.